pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Crowner, Raleigh,
Here.
Stewart,
Here.
Lees, West.
Here. Holy smoke. We need to perfect and approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Stewart,
Aye.
West.
Aye. Motion carried. Consent agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support to approve consent agenda items 1 through 9, which are the minutes of the regular city council meeting on November 7th, 2012. Payment to Southeast Iowa Regional Airport, payment to City Township Ambulance Association, payment to Burlington on behalf of CTAA, payment to the City of Burlington, payment to Burlington Municipal Water Works, a payment to Access Energy, approve the clerk's financial report for October 2012, and approve the claims as presented in the amount of $201,932.26. That breaks down to the general fund, $73,273.50. Road use, $2,834.28. Local option sales tax, $40,131.11. LMI set aside, $7,500. Equipment replace water, $270.83. Equipment replace administration, $270.83. Equipment replace sewer, $270.84. Water, $31,893.94. Beaverdale escrow, $19.75. Westwood escrow, $19.75. Woodsman escrow, $19.75. Sewer, $9,124.51. Risk management, self-insurance, $180.56. Flex account, $847.28. Agency fund, $33,613.13. And the Pink Heels Tour, $1,662.20. Any discussion? Roll call.
Stewart,
Aye.
West.
Aye.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Carried. This time we'll have committee reports on finance. We're going to have an update from Burlington Public Library. Rhonda and Mary are here. I can hear a lot of back feet coming out of this. Brad still back in there?
He's got his volume back there turned up too high.
He's not back there.
Well,
Good
thank you.
evening.
Thank you for having us here tonight. I appreciate your time. Came last year to give you an update on the library and things are going on, and seemed like a good idea. So I hope we can make this an annual event to come in, just let you know what's going on and answer any questions you might have. I sent along a copy of our annual report ahead of time, so you have that written report to refer to. It is an annual report, so of course one of the main things in there is looking at the numbers. Really the numbers story continues to be a strong one. On the second page of that report, it shows that we're continuing to check out in the over 500,000 range, as we have ever since moving into our new facility. We continue to have a large use of our meeting rooms, almost made it to 5,000 uses in the last year. And we also continue to have a lot of class and event participation. Those have been some areas where we've seen a lot of growth in the last few years. One of the other things that's in this report, we had a library school student who came to us last year, and her project that she was working on was on return on investment. Her background was in business, and so she wanted to apply that to a library and used us as her test case. So it's kind of an interesting new number for us to look at, but she did quite a bit of work researching how other libraries have done this and looking at our statistics and value for different things. And she ended up determining that our return on investment was 572%, or in other words, for every dollar of tax funding that we receive, there's $5.72 worth of value that the residents receive. So that was kind of a nice information to look at, and something we're going to continue to keep looking at and working with. The other big thing that we did in the last year was our strategic plan. And the board just, well, earlier this year, I guess in the spring, approved our new strategic plan. And on the back also of that report that I gave you in the services to the community section, I broke that down this year into the 6 areas that the board chose to be our areas to focus on. One of those, the first one, is the early literacy and school readiness. And the way we came about with these, it's the Public Library Association's strategic planning for results model that we used. And it starts with a group of residents getting together and looking at about a list of 18 different services that libraries offer, so general services. And before they even really got into ranking those or choosing those, they looked at the area's needs, the area's opportunities and strengths, those sort of things. It really talked about the community quite a bit. Then looked at those areas that libraries serve and ranked those to determine what's the most important thing that we can do as a library for the area. And I wasn't really surprised that their number one choice was the early literacy service. That's something we've been doing for a long time and something that I think is a really important role for libraries. Just a statistic that I found very interesting, a survey that was done found that 95% of Americans know that early literacy is important. But that about 75% mistakenly believe that kids who come into kindergarten without the skills are going to catch up in elementary school. And as we're seeing more and more in different research, and I know the governor talked about this in his education discussions, that kids who aren't at reading level by 3rd grade are unlikely to reach the reading level. So they need to have those early skills. Those early years are so important. So some of the things that we've been doing, we get a grant we have now for 4 years from Target, and we go out to the Head Starts and other preschools and do story times there, because we realize there are kids who just can't get in to do the story times at the library. But there's still a lot of them coming in to do those story times. We're actually looking at adding some more sessions because they're so full right now, which is a great problem to have, so we'll take that. One of the things in the report, I did throw in some different stories, and one of my favorite stories is the mother who said that her son Caleb comes to story time, they come together, and it helped her at home to sort of jazz up her storytelling. So it really is, these story times for the kids are just as much fun for the kids as it is for the adults, and everybody learns something together. We do also partner with Midwest One Bank to offer a special library card for kids that are 5 and under, and that's been a nice thing because they support us in giving a book to the kids, so they have something to take home with them. They can check out all they want at the library, but then they have a book that's their very own as well. So all of those have been really, really good things that we've been doing for early literacy and school readiness, and we'll continue to do those. The second area that was chosen by the community group as well as the board then was lifelong education. And that really is just that we don't just want to prepare kids to go to school, we stick with them when they get to school, and we stick with people throughout their lives. So we have the reading incentive programs that actually for all ages. We have them from babies through adults. And thank you, the West Burlington provides pool passes every year, and those are always very popular for our summer reading program. And that summer reading program is a great way for kids to keep up their skills during the summer, so they don't kind of fall into that summer slump and come back to school having lost skills. We also have done a lot of other things, and one of them I think is most important is some school partnerships. In the last year, we went and spoke to West Burlington middle school and high school kids and talked about the library and talked about volunteering, and we had kids that came and volunteered at the library, which was really great. Great River Christian School right now, about twice a month is coming with their middle school and high school kids to volunteer at the library. We also work with the 8th grade middle school students at Burlington schools, and we go in once a month, do book talks with them. And then, of course, we also do things for adults. So our Sit and Stitch programs, our seniors programs. This next month we'll have Iowans who fought against the Union. Those seniors programs tend to be things like music programs, history programs, a wide range of things, but they're very popular. Usually you have 70 to 100 seniors there, so that's been a nice thing to offer. Some of the other areas that we're looking at continuing to work on are connecting people to the online world, is the way they refer to it, but basically technology access. We started tracking how many people use our Wi-Fi, which was very 1,000 people a month are logging in to our Wi-Fi access. So that's becoming, those mobile devices becoming more and more people are using. One of the other areas that people chose that's a strength for us, particularly since we've been in our new facility, is providing a comfortable space. That library is a community gathering space. As I said, our meeting room use has been very strong. Lots of different organizations coming and using the rooms. We've got our coffee shop, we've got our used bookstore. People come and hang out more than they had in the past. And then that space isn't just the physical space, but also the virtual space. So one of the things that we're working on is updating our website, though I was very pleased that this year we were in the Hawkeyes Reader's Choice Awards. We got third place for best website. So, we're doing okay, I guess, but we have still more that we'd like to do. And that is one of the things we're just continuously looking to improve. We're just past 6 years now in our new building, and it still surprises me sometimes how many things we keep changing. We've redid our teen area in the last year. We created what we call a tween space, and that's for kids that are that in-between age. They're upper elementary, middle school age kids who some of the children's books may seem too babyish to them, and they're not quite ready to move over to the teen section. So we've created sort of a section for them, more age-appropriate things. We just finished, actually today, moving things around in the adult area and creating a Christian fiction section. That's been an area that people have asked for quite a while. So we pulled those books out into a separate space so they can find those more easily. So we're just always looking for ways to make it easier for people to access things at the library. The fifth goal, or area that they wanted us to work at and continue to look at, is the information and digital literacy. We offer computer classes. We have for several years now. We've added now some walk-in help. We've added some one-on-one appointments. I personally had an experience recently. I had a woman come in who was kind of, she was under stress, let's say. She had just found out that someone she was important to her had to have brain surgery the next day. They needed some insurance papers right away, and it was one of those things where they had given her some information, but really not enough to get the whole way. And so we sat together. We got through all the different steps we had to go through. We got this form she needed, and she went out that day with what she needed, which was a great thing. And so sometimes we need to spend a little more time with people to help them through some of their needs. And that's something we've been trying to continue to do and offer different ways to be there for people to help them with digital literacy. And the last one that people chose is really one that we've been strong at for a very long time, which is the local history and genealogy area. So that's one where the board decided, we're going to put that in there, but it's something we want to maintain at its current level. We'll still continue to do a lot of things in that area, but as I always say, you can go to any library in the state and find John Grisham novels, but there's nowhere else you can go and find Burlington history and this Des Moines County history and the information from this region. So we just had a question from New Zealand about local history, another one from Japan. We're just constantly getting people from all over the country and the world who are looking for. We're going to continue to support and build on. That is my very brief update. Too much of your time, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you.
Could you give us an example of the $5.72 return?
Right. One of the things that she did was she looked at numbers, like she looked at circulation numbers. So she's like, well, if somebody had to buy the book because they couldn't check it out at the library, how much would it cost them? If somebody needed to borrow the DVD, or they needed to get the downloaded ebook and didn't have the library to do that through, how much would they pay for that? She looked at how much it would be for using a meeting room. There's not a lot of free meeting room spaces available in our area, and so looked at some of the average cost. She looked at a story time, so we have a lot of kids using those story times, and so she looked at what are some other children's activities that are similar in the area, and what do they charge for registration fees. So she looked at several different things to put all that together. So got those average costs and then put our numbers into that to figure it out. There is also we added to our website, it's right at the top right now, but on the main page, but a value calculator. So if you go to the library and you check out some books and you go to a program, you can go in and put in, I checked out 5 books, 2 magazines, and I went to a story time, and it'll tell you how much value you got that day. So that's another thing that we've added to our site.
No, Dan gave us an update here once about, on the ebooks. Is the copyright still in being checked out so many times you have to repurchase that copyright again?
You know, one of the things that's kind of a struggle right now is publishers are still trying to figure things out, I think. There are some publishers that I believe it's 26 checkouts. HarperCollins will let us and continue to use it. And then there's some publishers that won't let libraries purchase at all. And one of the frustrating things we've been finding too is that some of the publishers charge 3-4 times as much for us to purchase it than they would to an individual purchasing it, which is not the model that we've had over the years for books and magazines and things like that. So that's all still being worked out, I think, as this new format is being developed. So there are some books I can't get for you on ebook. They just won't allow us. A lot of the bestsellers, unfortunately, we can't do. But we have found that our ebook usage has been doubling each year. So it's an area we want to keep growing. When we first started doing it, there was one company essentially that we could go through and do the checkout of ebooks. And now there's more companies that are getting into this. And so with more competition and more people getting into it, I think we're going to have a lot more options.
Well, I appreciate you taking your time tonight to come out and talk to us.
Oh, sure, happy to
Don't
do
have
it.
any pies in the oven. One other thing I see the Blu-rays going up too.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're completely out of VHS tapes and
No, we still have some.
made DVDs now? Or?
Yeah, we still have a few VHS hanging on there. The VHS we tend to each year go through and go, okay, if it hasn't checked out recently, we're not going to keep it. But we still check them out. So we have those. And we have the DVDs, and then we just added the Blu-ray, and that's kind of a pretty small section right now, just a couple of ranges of shelving, but I think that'll keep growing, and I do think the VHS will be gone in the next year or so. They just keep shrinking. We actually have books on cassette tapes still too, and that's one where fewer and fewer people can play those cassette tapes, but they still check out, so we'll keep the ones that people want and keep phasing that one out.
Thanks, both of you, for coming.
All right, thank you so much.
Anybody have any comments, questions?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Is there anything else for finance? Anybody have anything for finance? Okay, streets. Rick, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything tonight. I drove around and everything looks pretty good. Randy, I know he was up to
All
school
still
today
work.
and, huh?
Streets all still work.
Yeah, still work, still go down, no bumps on it except for a few. But anyway, and then he's been up helping on the school and that stuff in there, but Randy might have some more stuff to go.
I don't really have anything tonight.
Dan, you have anything?
I do not.
Okay, public safety.
All I have
Jump in.
is Officer Covert's return from Taser instructor school. We have in-house to where we can recertify. Everybody in-house will recertify in January at the department meeting.
Mike? something for Mike?
We just keep doing more training. The guys did some RIT training on Monday. Last Saturday, they did some forcible entry training from a crew that came down from Johnson County. Probably, I think there were 17 people at that training, which was very nice to see. Saturday, they're going up to Yarmouth to do some engine company operations. advancing hoses, techniques, more forcible entry stuff, applying fans and stuff like that for ventilation. We had 3 more interviews. 2 of them have passed their interviews. One of them just decided that he just couldn't devote enough time to do it. So, we told him that if he felt that he could later on to come back, because he seemed like a good candidate. And all of them said that they found out from this through the Safer Grant stuff, the advertising that we did. So it's working, and that's great to see.
I'm glad it's working, and I do want to express, on the behalf of the city, our condolences to Chief Himes' wife's mother passed away. Funeral.
That's all I have.
Anybody have anything for public safety? Utilities.
I don't have anything. Randy?
Nope, I don't have anything tonight.
Have anything for utilities?
Anybody hear anything on the lights and that stuff? The street lights?
The new ones or the ones that we're trying to fix?
Trying to fix. Are they
I
all
haven't
in
heard-
Jersey?
I haven't heard anything on that. I know they.
Yeah, they stopped in, and we now have a new rule that we're doing. The guys on third shift are checking it, and when they find one out, we actually talk to the guy that goes up and repairs them. He worked on it for quite a while. They go out, and we bought red ribbon, like construction ribbon, put around the pole, so he knows exactly what pole to go to change it, and we'll just fax them in. So this is going to be an ongoing thing that third shift does, is drive around and keep the lights on.
Okay, so I just wondered, one light's been out for 12 weeks now.
Okay. Where's that at?
Vernon Street, it's on his list.
Is it on the list? Okay. Well, I never drove back around to see if they fixed them.
A few people's called and they said, yeah, we'll be out there, and it's still thing. Then I showed them the list that we did, and I thought, that's cool. And so it's still out, so.
I know the installer showed up and asked for clarifications on several of the lists that we gave to him because he didn't understand exactly where the pole was at we were talking about.
Paint it red.
Well, I can give you one of those. We'll put that around there, see if he can help find that. Because that was his idea
It's
to
just
put.
the neighborhood wants it.
I've gotten good comments about the one up on Ramsey between the elementary and the high school that they did put up new.
Good.
Anything else for utilities? Sanitation.
I bet Randy can tell us about the 90-degree elbows.
Today they were working on an air release valve, and between yesterday and today, they did some exploration, and they found that it was gonna require several extra fittings underground, and it was gonna be a lot deeper underground than what I really would like to see our piping. And they came up with this change order to put in a new manhole, eliminate a lot of the extra fittings. The piping itself wouldn't be quite so deep, and then we'd put in a new air relief valve. I don't know when we actually shut this air relief valve off, but they found that it was off today when they were down there. I talked to Dave a little bit before the meeting. I think we could probably go quite a while without ever having any issues with it, but 10 or 15 years from now, if we ever had any leaks or anything, whoever has to dig that up in the future wouldn't be very happy if they had to be 18 or 19 feet in the ground. So while the ground is opened up, my recommendation would be, and I know you can't vote on it tonight, but we just kind of need a verbal go-ahead, or if you choose not to, that's your option too. But while the contractor's here, it's going to be cheaper if we put in a new manhole, change the piping around a little bit, and then put in a new air relief valve. And the cost is $16,486. And I don't know if Dave wants to add anything or not, but he is here if you have any questions.
So in the conversations and that, Randy, what do you recommend on?
I would definitely do this right now. Now's the time to take care of it while the project's going on.
Because it goes down the line, I'll be, 76? I probably won't worry about it then. I don't have a problem with it.
You run into this stuff when you have a lot of underground work because you're taking plans that were 30 years old and you don't know how closely they followed those, and without having as-built or somebody that actually witnessed the project, you don't know a lot of times what's actually going on until they get it all exposed.
Yeah, we used internal loan and paying for this with TIF. We didn't borrow enough to do this, but we can do another internal loan and cover it, and it'll just get paid with TIF like everything else. So, the money's there to do it if we choose to do it.
And what was it? Oh, that was okay, I got you. Never mind.
Kind of get consensus, because
Yeah,
it's easier
do
to
it right,
do it right the first time.
Okay.
Put it on for
Take care of
2
it.
weeks.
Well, when they do, and I've never asked this question before, but when we got change orders like this, do they note that on the final plan, on the plans? Are those things being noted on the plans to where 20, 30 years from now, somebody looks at those plans of what was built, and they say, oh, this was built this way and that way, and they dig it up, and it's the other way?
Usually that would go into the as-constructed drawings, yes.
Okay.
If we can find the drawings 30 years from now, then we'll know.
There's a lot of stuff downstairs.
There is. Okay.
If they would do it, not forget about doing it.
All righty. Well, it's,
Well,
I've
yeah.
never thought about it in the past, so. We've had a lot of change orders over the years on stuff. For sanitation. Our staff reports. Cal, you got anything? No. Leslie, you got anything? No. All righty. We'll go on. Anyone wishing to address the council on matters that are not on the agenda tonight, please? All three of you in the audience. Go to new business. Item number 1 is to consider payment Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission for the CDBG housing rehab project, $30,674. What's your pleasure here?
I've always been in favor of this, so moved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
West.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Stewart. Aye.
Carried. Item number 2 is to consider payment to key cut contractors for work on the lift station upgrade in the amount of $159,030.
So moved.
Support.
With support, any discussion? Roll call.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Stewart. Aye. Pease. West.
Aye.
Carried. Item number 3 is to consider a request from Pro Motorsports at 3610 West Mount Pleasant to construct a crossover Mount Pleasant Street.
And this is a request that came to me through the police department, and apparently he had asked to get this crossover across the 2 different lanes on Mount Pleasant Street. I asked him to send us a written request. He did that. I passed it along to you. I talked to Frank. Doesn't seem to think that there's a safety issue with it. The only other one that would affect would be Schwintz as of right now. Everybody else has frontage roads or whatever, so my recommendation would be to give it to him.
And do you see any problem you working on it, or?
No, it shouldn't be a big deal. Just a matter of putting a tube in there,
Yeah.
put some clay in it, and for this, if we do it yet this fall, we'll probably just rock it, and then in the spring we'll pave it.
Okay. So fire-wise or anything else, if Mike and them take a truck across there for
Oh,
any
yeah.
reason or something?
Yeah, when we get done with it, it'll be, even though it's gravel, should be pretty firm and shouldn't
Alright.
be an issue.
Okay, so move.
Motion with support. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Stewart. Aye. Raleigh.
Aye.
West.
Aye.
Carried. 4 is to consider the TIF debt certification for fiscal year 2013, 2014. As you can see from the memo, we probably should certify about $2 million in debt.
Is this going to, and then add the 16 onto this?
No,
No,
that won't
that'll-
be until next year.
That won't be until next year's,
Okay.
because the debt isn't created yet.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion?
Looks like a lot when you put it all on one sheet of paper.
Yeah. You should see the TIF report Leslie's doing to
I
send to
guess
the
I don't
state.
want to. It's pretty complicated, huh?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, it's got a lot more than 2 million, because it's got the total amount of all the projects. There's quite a bit, but it also shows that we've done quite a bit with it. It shows I think the state will be impressed with some of the work that's been done. Valuations that went up, and a lot of stuff got built that probably wouldn't have gotten built. So it's a good long look at some stuff that we don't always look at. So it's a good deal in the long run.
Roll call.
West,
Aye.
Raleigh,
Aye. Sorry.
Stewart,
Motion carried. To consider bunker gear purchase for the fire department, one set in the amount of $1,651.
So move.
Support.
Support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Stewart, West,
Aye.
Motion carried. 6 is to consider renewal of Wellmark and dental health insurance for 2013. We've received an 11.18% increase. I know last year we had a slight decrease, so this year they're hitting us again.
They're ramping up for the new healthcare law.
Yeah, probably. You can see, for single coverage, it's gonna go, from, new monthly premium would be, $481.90, and, family coverage would be $982.83, up from $441.82 and $883.12. And then we do a lot of self-funding in between there.
Well, my plan has a $5,000 deductible. So putting that down to 300 for single, 600 per family.
What would the premiums have been if the deductibles were lower?
If we had the $300, $600 deductible.
Well, no, because I know that Blue Cross doesn't go that low, but like if they had a $1,000 deductible?
We can have, let me find it.
Well, irregardless, we're contractually obligated with the unions to keep it the same, aren't we?
Well, I mean,
Till
the
July.
deductible is mainly for us. I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out what the,
We self-fund down from
right.
5,000 to 300, 600. We
Yeah.
cover that difference in that cost.
Yeah, if Wellmark was paying for that, it'd be considerably higher, but.
I'm not finding around hand care. I can send you
Okay,
an
that's
email.
fine, yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
I'm just kind of curious as to what the differences were with their,
You waiting on a motion on this?
Oh, yeah.
You haven't had one yet?
No.
I would make that motion.
support.
Motion with support. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Stewart.
Aye.
West.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Carried. Item number 7 is consider selling miscellaneous equipment, including boiler, water heater, air compressor, and scoreboard from the middle school property.
This is just the stuff that I looked at that looked like it had quite a bit of value. I'd also like permission to somehow auction off odds and ends stuff with lesser value that I can't possibly put a list together because I don't know what anybody would be interested in. But we'll know that later, and I'll give you a list of what actually people are interested in, but we kind of have to do that all at one deal. But this stuff I want to put on Gov Deals, and I want to get that on as soon as possible. It looks like some of the, especially the boiler has some value. The other stuff I'm not too sure about, but it looked like it might be worth something, so excited to see about putting it on there.
Tim Kesterkey told me today that we probably won't get much of anything for the scoreboard. He said they've tried to give the scoreboard away at the football field, the old one, and nobody will even take that. But
yeah, I was it looks like it looks vintage and kind of
well,
cool.
and that could be too.
That if somebody had a really big restaurant, it would
Right.
look good on the. I mean, not to use it for a scoreboard, but to use it for a decoration. It might be worth a few. We can even get it down from there very easy, but
Tim does have the control that actually changes the score and everything too.
You
So
still have the box, does he?
yeah, yeah, he showed me where that was at today.
I just got looking at it when I was walking through there, and it looks really old, and it's kind of cool.
It is.
Kinda
I can
cool.
tell you.
It looks like something you'd see on a wall of some sports bar if it was big enough, but it's
And
pretty good size.
if I remember right, I think Pepsi Company is the one that donated that time, not to advertise. So.
What's your pleasure? Might as well start getting rid of some of this stuff.
I absolutely agree. I'd make that motion.
Support.
Motion with support. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Stewart.
Aye.
West.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 8 is to consider a request from Cody Graham to keep livestock on his property located at 3912 406 Road. I think I send you all a copy of the letter that he should have received one. Moved here a few weeks ago. He owns 3 acres of land, and he was looking at the city codes and sorts. He'd like to get permission from the council to raise chickens as well as goats. Since I live so far away from neighbors, I don't foresee any issues with affecting anyone. The only neighbor will be 480 feet away from where animals will be. All livestock will have proper housing as well as live a proper life, food, water, and attention. So he wants to get his kids into 4-H, and that's one of the reasons for getting them the chickens and goats and eggs and stuff from the chickens. He'd like to plant some alfalfa in the future for feeding the animals. According to our code, he's in a B2 general business, and he needs to have the written permission from council to be able to do that.
He's basically the last house to get to the truck stop. Closest house would be Truey Johnson. He'd be the 400 and some feet away. And apparently he's talked to the neighbors about it.
So, I mean, this is going to be just kind of tossed up. You know how many chickens he raised or how many goats, or he's not going to raise 300 chickens and cut them up and slaughter. And
Well, I think he said in his letter it wasn't going to be, I don't know what he said about,
Just enough for personal use.
yeah, so eggs he said, he didn't say anything about slaughter, but
Okay.
So, and nothing's going to be in his front yard, it's all going to be behind the property?
Be on the side and behind, because there's a big barn that sits to the,
yeah, it's basically a farm place, kind
Yeah.
of.
it was an old farmhouse. I don't know how many chickens he's planning on having, but I don't think there's a chicken coop there, but there was a business in there at one time, sold chainsaws, I believe, long time ago. I don't see a problem with it being way out there. I mean, we've had potbelly pigs in town, across the street from the elementary school, and we've got horses in town right now too, so.
I don't know about.
Yeah, Kelly had spoken with him earlier. I just got a call back at the start of the meeting about visiting with the neighbors, and he's contacted everybody, and nobody has
And it's all formed in about it.
nobody has an issue with it. So, do we need a motion on this, Mayor?
Well, according to the code, he just needed to provide us with, we've got to give him written permission, so I imagine
Just
we'll do a motion and we'll write him a letter saying your permission's been granted.
I'd make that motion.
Support. Motion with support.
Good for him.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Stewart.
Aye.
West.
Aye.
Carried. Don't have any old business, but I got a couple other things I want to bring up to the council. I received this email this afternoon from Sarah Gahn, who's kind of spearheading a ribbon cutting ceremony for the Veterans, yeah, memorial that they're planning on erecting at 409 West Division Street. So I'll just, she wrote, I just left you a voicemail, but wanted to also send this email since I know everyone's busy with the holiday and you may not receive your voicemail for a few days. As you know, we're having a ribbon cutting ceremony on the 27th at 10 a.m. at 409 West Division Street, West Burlington. I'm trying to put together an agenda. Would like to know if you or any of your council members plan to attend. If so, would any of you be willing to say a few words about the memorial being in our community? If you could let me know, I will add something to the agenda, make sure we recognize that the council had a presence. Thanks and happy Thanksgiving. So I forward this to you, so if you guys want to respond to her directly or let me know. I already wrote her back saying I'll attend, but I'm not in the mood to speak, really.
What time?
It's
10 a.m.
10 o'clock on the 27th.
Yeah, same here. I'm planning on going, but I'm.
And this other one I received also this afternoon in the form of an email, and it says, please read at the meeting. So I'm going to. I am a female, 30-plus year registered nurse working in the healthcare industry. So I feel qualified to step up on my soapbox to present my views. As we know, cancer has no boundaries. It reaches out to everyone. There is no racial, age, gender, or social economic class that it does not strike. In my profession, I've cared for many post-op lumpectomies as well as simple and radical mastectomy patients, the youngest age 17 year and the oldest 80 year. We have seen it happen in our own families and friends. Truly, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That is why females should have yearly mammograms, but there are many women that do not have the funds or resources available to them through no fault of their own, either unemployed, no health insurance, or simply no funds. These women should not go without, which leads me to the purpose of this letter. The West Burlington Fire Department sponsored the Pink Heels Tour this past August, and the money's donations raised went to the Bras for Cause program, sponsored by Planned Parenthood. This program is set up specifically to help pay for mammograms for the women in Des Moines County that are in need but unable to afford. I'm proud that I made a charitable donation for this worthy program. So now we need to get the word out to these women. West Burlington Mini Storage, Trees Lees. Anyone wishing to address the council matters we did discuss or didn't discuss tonight? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.